Welcome, ladies and gents. We've had the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and what a race we got. We got incident, safety car, a penalty that we've got to go through, plenty of action on track. Let's take a look. Let's go through the key moments of the race, and crucially, lap one, right at the start, the big talking point. Max Verstappen on pole position, Oscar Piastri with a brilliant start, right up along that side, Max Verstappen down into turn one. Oscar Piastri, I think, was up alongside, slightly ahead of Max Verstappen going into the corner. Both went off, well, didn't go wide. Oscar Piastri went right to the edge of the track. Max Verstappen took the escape route, held that position. There was an incident behind Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, which eventually caused a safety car towards the end of that lap one. But Max Verstappen gets a 5-second penalty. Do you think it's deserved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's so touch and go when it's like this. We always see it here in Saudi Arabia as well when we get the first corner like we do. Well, if we had a slightly longer run down into that turn one, I think Oscar Piastri would definitely have been ahead, with considering the great start he got. Max Verstappen, let's get to the penalty point. Oscar Piastri clearly had the line on the inside line, was marginally ahead potentially of Max Verstappen. If not, it was very, very close. Oscar Piastri went to the edge of the track like he kind of thought he had the right to do so, because he thought he was in the lead at that stage. Should he have left Max Verstappen more space onto the corner of turn two, which follows at that chicane? Had he done that, I think it would have been definitely a slam dunk penalty for Max Verstappen, because he would have had somewhere to go, but he decided to take the corner or cut the corner and keep the lead. But he didn't, and probably why should he do that? Because it just adds more, Well, had he done that, I think it would have been better potentially if Max had taken that corner. But had he not done that and Max kept the corner, would he have not taken the lead when he thought he could have? And did they both go in too deep? It's so finite, the differences here. But Max Verstappen does what Max Verstappen does. He just left that element of doubt. Did he just bleed off the brakes just to, keep his car there? Would he have ever made that corner with the speed he was carrying into turn one? Only Max Verstappen knows that. The stewards, though, felt that Max Verstappen did do that and effectively gained that advantage by crossing the exit and keeping that P1 position, which he felt actually was crucial in just keeping his tyres in temperature and in range. And was it worth the risk of taking that 5-second penalty? We'll never know the answer to that question, because how would Max's tyres behave behind the McLaren? He knows, and he's always said that clean air is so crucial in races like this. And it kind of showed as well, didn't it? Towards the end of that first stint, Max Verstappen had a good 2.5 second gap to Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri was within the DRS for most of the beginning part of the lap, but was, just couldn't get close enough to make a move at that stage. And it could have played off, but for that 5-second penalty, I think Max would have gone on and won that race. But we'll get to that, and that's probably enough on that point. But let me know your thoughts on that penalty. Do you think it's a deserved penalty? It's so finite, but I think overall, I'm going to go with it probably should have been a penalty. That's my neck on the line. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda had the incident. Such a shame for the pair of them, because they both put themselves in decent positions, and they've just taken themselves out, which meant everybody else gained ahead of them. The two Williams are big winners from that in the end, isn't it, with their positions? But yeah, such a shame for them too, because they put on decent showings, especially on Pierre Gasly's side, and could they have held on for some much needed points? Shame for both of them. And then we got Max Verstappen getting out when he did pit, stuck behind Lewis Hamilton a little bit too long. Was that the difference? He lost about a second there, didn't he, when he came out, and he could have gone straight onto the back of Oscar Piastri. That never really allowed to happen. Lando Norris made good moves through the start of the race, a good move on Carlos Sainz. With Lewis Hamilton, though, he did make hard work of him on the third time of trying. He just didn't grasp I'm surprised he's not looked back and seen what 2022, when we've seen Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc do that. It's so obvious. Just follow the guy through the last corner and get the DRS and make the move down to turn one when you've got that advantage. Lewis Hamilton did what all great drivers would and should do, just made it difficult. Got the DRS on Lando Norris, who passed him at the end of that last corner, got the DRS down into turn 1 and made the pass on him again, and I think potentially that could have cost Lando Norris that podium, because it was, you know, them 2 laps where he was flying, what could have made the difference for him of getting potentially just ahead of Charles Leclerc, or just that bit much closer to him, that when he did close up he would have had a couple more laps to attack him towards the end of the race. But then good moves on Kimi Antonelli, George Russell. The move of the day, though, for me was Oscar Piastri around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. That was crucial. We've seen Max Verstappen lose a second behind Lewis Hamilton, just following him around the track, and Oscar was so clinical, went on the marbles, such a risky move when there's marbles out there, could have lost the rear end, and that would have been, you know, all she wrote, because there's no prisoners here in Saudi Arabia. The barriers are so close, and what a move from him. And then we saw what a brilliant drive from Charles Leclerc. The overcut was masterful in the end, got him onto the podium with a brilliant drive. Just managed that. His pace on them medium tyres was better than, or close to, what Lewis Hamilton was doing on fresher tyres on the hards behind. So absolutely tremendous job from Charles Leclerc, and a brilliant drive to just keep the fast charging Lando Norris behind him. That Ferrari came quick, very, very quick towards the end of that race, and are we seeing it where they're full on fuel and, you know, the car just doesn't sit and balance right and they struggle. And then we got the DRS train of the Williams, the 2 boys working fantastically well to keep the fast-charging Isaac Hadjar, who I thought had a good race, behind for a double-point finish. It was so close at the end. We had Lando Norris right behind Charles Leclerc, like 1.8 seconds or something like that. We've seen Max Verstappen closing on Oscar Piastri, got to within 3 seconds or under, about 2.5 seconds again at the end of the race. Max Verstappen showing that Red Bull is strong in race conditions as well. Lewis Hamilton was closing on Kimi Antonelli, and this is what I like about when we get tyres that degrade. Thank God they went Pirelli for 1 step softer tyres, because if they'd not done that, it would have comfortable one-stop strategy and everyone just pushing to the end, and I don't think we would have quite got the overtakes that we've seen, because the tyre differences between the 2 wouldn't have been so great. But yeah, all held on, and brilliant drives from a number of drivers. Let's get to the 3 good and the 3 bad. I'm starting with the first of that is Charles Leclerc, with what a drive in the overcut. Like I said before, mega, just absolutely brilliant. Just the pace that he managed to keep on such worn mediums to go so long, as the, you know, obviously helped with the fuel coming down, but still to pump up laps, which were, he was not far off. I mean, even the guys behind in terms of Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri, I think they went into sort of management mode a little bit, because he was only, 3/10 slower than them guys behind him who were on fresher tyres, which was the big surprise for me. But that Ferrari and Charles Leclerc absolutely drove mega well. Even when he just pit on the mediums, I thought, oof, will he have the pace and will he be able to keep Lando Norris behind him, because he was flying as well, and he came in even later than Charles Leclerc, but Leclerc drove brilliantly well. What a drive for a podium. That car did not deserve to be on the podium. There's no 2 ways about it. And if Ferrari can pull off a car that can, you know, give these boys a chance for the win, Charles Leclerc looks like the 2 that will go for that championship out of the 2 Ferrari boys, isn't it? So absolute tremendous job from him. The second of the 3 good, I'm going for the surprise here, Isaac Hadjar. Let me know what you think of this one, but I thought it was a very good drive. Made up 4 places. The only big shame was that he couldn't get past 2 Williams, and it's a shame that it was 2 cars ahead of him from the same team, because they used the DRS tactic that we've seen Carlos Sainz use brilliantly well in Singapore. You know, Sainz bringing that over into the Williams, and he helped Alex Albon massively, because Isaac Hadjar on them tyres was flying, and had he got past one of the Williams, Carlos Sainz would have been in trouble as well. And I thought he drove brilliantly well. This guy, a rookie, is doing such a tremendous job, and picked up some good points for the team. Again, beats his teammate Liam Lawson, who qualified ahead of him as well. And the third of the 3 good, I'm going for Oscar Piastri, because I just thought he drove a really good race. Put in the laps, put in the overtake when he absolutely needed to, took the big risk on that move around the outside of Lewis Hamilton when he did. You just don't pass there. I've never seen anybody pass there. And to do that, was absolutely tremendous, and it was crucial actually because it meant he had that gap to keep Max Verstappen just out of the hunt, and not let Max Verstappen have a sniff of the DRS, who came back actually at the end, closing on Oscar Piastri, which shows how crucial that move was when he got it done. Unlike his teammate who struggled behind Lewis Hamilton and potentially cost him a podium. So that's what a good job and how crucial it was for Oscar Piastri in the end. My shout out though is to the Williams boys, and could have potentially thrown these into the 3 good, because a double point finish for them too was absolutely tremendous. Carlos Sainz finished ahead of his teammate Alex Albon, and he finally getting on top of this Williams now. Let's hope he can kick on from here. On to the 3 bad, and it's, well, usual spot suspects potentially. Jack Doohan with the only guy to do the 2 stops, probably didn't help because he went so long and pitted under the safety car to put on the hards. That strategy didn't work out. When you get to my 3rd driver of the bed, right, you'll see why he is. But he was absolutely miles off. He just didn't really have the pace. Managed to just sneak past Gabby Bortoleto on the line by 0.042 at the end, just to give himself, P17 in the end from where he started. Yeah, disappointing from him considering Gasly was up in P9 and looked like he might have been fought for points. We'll never know about that, but Jack Doohan, a little bit disappointing for me. The 3rd of the 3 bad I'm going for Lance Stroll, and he is another one. Was it strategy fault or was it his fault? He went super long on the first stint, up to lap 40, and then just had 10 laps to go to try and make up some decent positions, and he finished P16 at one point. He was right alongside Fernando Alonso, and should have pitted earlier just because he only had 10 laps then. I know he had sort of only 6 laps fresher tyres of the guy ahead of him in Nico Hulkenberg, and is that why he went another 6 laps longer? But he just didn't give himself any time on the fresher tyres to make up any places, and he finished 5 places back from Fernando Alonso, where the car looked decent enough. It's not top 10 finisher just yet, this car, but it was a better weekend for them and it didn't really pay off for him. 3rd place I'm going in the 3 bad is Gabby Bortoleto, and he's just dropped off a little bit. He nearly took out his manager Fernando Alonso. That was excruciatingly close. Even Alonso coming on on the radio, just that was shows how close it was. He just had nowhere to go, and that could have caused a big safety car moment, red flag, and well, we would have seen potentially Charles Leclerc go and take a win with that one if that come out at that time, but it didn't happen. But Gabby, yeah, just was miles off the place. He stuck with the 1-stop strategy. It absolutely didn't work for him and his car. We'll talk about Ocon later, but he made it work. He made up 5 places from that strategy, pitting on lap 1 and getting to the hards, and he was at one point he did a 1:38 with like 3-4 seconds off the pace, and that gave Doohan the sniff to pass him on the very last lap on the line, but other than that it was 2-3 seconds off the pace. And should the team have seen that and just thought, we've made a mistake pitting on lap 1, it's always mega difficult when you do that, unless you know you've got a car that can really manage your tyres well, a bit like the McLaren. Your car wouldn't be there in the first place, but that's the only time I see you do that strategy, where it's, or unless they not change the tyre to one mode softer Pirelli for this year. I heard we had last year's tyres, then fair enough, I probably could have seen it work a bit more than that, and I think the team should have known better, left the rookie out to dry. So it's a bit of a blame on Bortoleto and the team, but Bortoleto has been a little bit disappointing for me in the last 2 races. Need to just pull it back together. And that's the 3 good or the 3 bad. And well, let's get to the main man again and finish on him, Oscar Piastri. This guy, is now the championship leader, 10 points, but is he the man, the favourite to go and win the championship? Numerous people have said it. Is he now showing the goods? He's been so impressive with what he's managed to achieve. Just 51 races in Formula 1, this guy, still relatively young, and he's outshining his more experienced teammate Lando Norris, holding off the 4-time world champion Max Verstappen, who's no mean slouch at all, and winning races under pressure. He's not comfortably gone off and won by a country mile, and he's got such a cool head about him, and is that what's going to see him over the line potentially for a first world championship? Who knows? We've got so many races to go, and that's the brilliant thing about it. I mean, we are already at round 5 though, 19 races to go. Up next, Miami. Watch out for the driver ratings video coming soon. But what a race. I thought it was brilliant. So much overtaking, with the strategy calls potentially coming into place. We've seen the Ferrari flying. We had Max Verstappen closing at the end. And this is what I love about Formula 1. It gets so close right at the end for the death, for the win, and for places on the podium. This is what we love to see. What a brilliant race. Saudi, hats off to you again. A fantastic race. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, see you on the next one. Drivers rating coming soon. Miami preview will be coming soon. Watch out for them. See you then.